G'day, Ben from Melbourne here, and we're going to do another one of those bloody interviewing the VC members today. And for a change, we've got someone who's not over 50 years old and listens to Rush and the Beatles. We've got the young bull of the VC with the old the old head for garage punk and power pop, musically wise beyond his years. When I was the same age, I didn't know my ass from my elbow, so I'm very honoured to have the great George from his channel Blockhead on. The heir apparent to Garner Harris, I reckon. He'll take that throne one day. He's also, like Garner, has a killer 7-inch collection as well, which, you know, I think I used to be the beneficiary of those phones, but you've taken over now. So,
sorry.
Welcome, George. Thanks for coming on.
That was a great intro. Thank you. Wow.
That's quite all right. I hope it fit the man that you are. So, speaking of which, I don't mean to harp on about age. How, at such a young age, did you get into all of this good stuff? You seem to, like most of us, go through that uncomfortable period and try and block that out of our past. And you just like hit the ground running.
Well, it did start with Elton John. And I know you aren't too big on Elton John, but Elton John kind of led me to some of the glammy stuff like Bowie.
That's
and then
interesting.
Bowie kind of led me to Iggy Pop. And then right around the same time I was listening to Iggy Pop, I remember I was in a drugstore and they had a little CD section. And
now for our international viewers, George, can you explain a drugstore? It's not somewhere where you just go and buy weed and heroin.
Is it convenience store? Is that a more
perfect? Yep.
Okay. Yeah. And they had like a CD rack, and there was an Elvis Costello CD.
Oh, nice.
And I had no idea who that was, and I just remember thinking he looks really cool. And I, for some reason, I don't remember why I couldn't buy it at the time, but I came home and looked up who he was, and then that led me down Stiff Records and to the Damned, and then it just kind of became an obsession, you know.
Awesome. I never would have made that link with how you said Elton John and glam, because in my head I just group him in with those singer-songwriter kind of people. But I guess with some of the insane outfits he used to wear back then,
I think he was more, you know, visually grouped in, and he did, I think, hang around with Mark Bolan quite a bit.
Yeah, he plays piano in the Born to Boogie film.
Oh, really? Oh.
Yeah, and Ringo's in that as well. So worth checking out. Anyway, for those of you who are new to this is where I interview a member of the VC, and they get 6 questions which they're allowed to prepare for, and they get 6 on the hot seat where they don't know what's coming at them. And of course, we always have our bonus question to sort the wheat from the chaff, shall we say. And I think that about covers all of the housework. No, what's the term? I can't think of it right now. That'll do. Let's call it housework.
Sure.
Now,
housekeeping?
Thank you. Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
New house was in there somewhere. So I award a point according to if I think the answer is worthy. As usual, you Americans who watch this can argue in the comments about points because, you know, when it comes down to it, the points are meaningless, but I do love how it seems to stir up you Yanks a bit, where everybody else don't give a shit. All right. Are you ready?
I think so. Hopefully.
Okay. Question 1. Justify your YouTube vinyl community existence. Why should we watch your channel and show a record that supports this?
Well, it was kind of tempting to go the Canadian direction. It's a little bit like, trying to split the Canadian direction and the vinyl Richies approach. I don't think how do I put that? I just show what I like, I guess. This kind of started more as a vehicle for me to babble about records and not keep telling my family who backed Johnny Thunders in 1978. And it just kind of, I guess, snowballed. But I will say, I don't think anyone else in the vinyl community has 15 Elvis Costello bootlegs.
So I don't think so.
I'll go with that. But I tend to show a lot of 70s punk, garage rock, power pop. So I was kind of trying to think of a record that converged all those influences, and to me, that's this.
Yeah.
There's that kind of 60s garagey Mersey beat sensibility to the songwritings. There's it's almost punk, but kind of not. And it's, I would say it's definitely power pop. It's kind of almost heading into new wave. I mean, obviously, I think, what's his name? Peter Case went on to the Plimsolls.
Yeah.
And Paul Collins beat. And I don't know what Jack Lee did after this. But
man, if
anyway.
you got those two in your band, you're already ahead of the pack, man. That is a great choice. And thank you for not going the Canadian route and just being all super humble. It is good to see that probably like all of us, you hit that point with your friends and family, or in my case, my wife, where you realize they are getting too much focus and the eyes just glaze over, and you can tell that you've just gone a little bit too far down that rabbit hole. So, in a lot of ways, the VC is quite therapeutic for us.
Yes, definitely.
Yes. Excellent answer, mate. And great record that you showed as well. Love that record. And of course, Plimsolls and the beat, which they went on to do. Fantastic. 1 for 1. Good start. Second question. Show a record that I like.
This might be pandering a little bit, but I'm going to show album and a 45, and both you introduced me to. And,
cool.
This is the Wild Cherries. I don't know.
Yeah.
But this is so good. This is really, really something else. Yeah,
that's a killer. With the mighty Lobby Lloyd, who's played in nearly every 60s band and 70s band in Australia. He's like a kind of guitar god, but he crossed over into like understanding like punk, and he actually produced, I think it was the first the Australian X, their record. X,
really? Wow.
So I don't know. Do you know the Australian X? Yeah.
I have I need to get the reissue of the record, but I have the Hate City 45. And that is a really good song.
Yeah. And there's actually a comp called Experts, and that's got a lot of the recordings from around that time, because I don't think they actually released a record until about 79 or 80 with their first one. So there's that comp, if you like, Hate City, which I think was bang on 77. That's what that comps of all of the recordings they did at that time. Just really raw, skeletal sounding guitars, and that throat, man.
Yeah, it's very, very guttural singing,
Yes.
but not like some of the UK 82 stuff.
Mm.
The singing is so guttural that it kind of puts me off.
Yeah.
But that's the perfect balance. Yeah.
Yeah. It's still got, it manages to have a hook in there.
Yeah. And then the 45 is the Thought Criminals.
Fantastic.
And this is a reissue on, I think it's called Doublethink Records.
Mm.
And I think it comes with a bunch of, I won't show up, but it comes with a big booklet and
Yeah.
really cool reissue.
Excellent. Great choices. And as I said, I love pandering when it's the shit is that good. 2 for 2. Smashing it, mate. All right. Number 3. This might have already been covered in a way at the start. What is the worst record and you know it's bad, but you won't get rid of it, and why?
Well, I'm going to go back to Elvis Costello. This is his 1984 album, Goodbye Cruel World.
Huh?
And it's after Punch the Clock, which had like Every Day I Write the Book on it.
Yeah.
But before he kind of had that comeback with like King of America and Blood and Chocolate, where he kind of strips back down.
Mm.
And the songs aren't bad, but the production is so terrible.
So is it got... I'm not as familiar with that one. I think I've got King of America and stuff around then, and Trust, and like, and obviously all of the Attractions stuff leading up to that from the start. But I'm not as familiar with that one. So has that got like that big 80s gated snare drums? And, yeah,
big time. And the real real piece of garbage on here is there is a song called The Only Flame in Town that has backup vocals by Daryl Hall. And that really sucks. It's really bad. But there's a demo record, or a CD of demos of this album, where it's just him and an acoustic guitar.
So you're not big, so you're not big on Daryl Hall's Blue Soul stylings?
God, no.
No, I hate that shit too.
Hate Hall & Oates. But there's a CD of demos where it's just him and an acoustic guitar playing these songs, and they're good songs. It's just the production is so bad. But I'm sorry, I'm getting kind of off track.
No.
I feel like I need to have this because I have every album of his between 77 and 89.
Yeah.
And so it feels kind of weird to just be missing one record.
So you often do that with people you're into, where you got to have the one in, you can't have the years either side of it. You got to always have that one, or is it just Elvis Costello?
I think it's just Elvis Costello. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. Anyway, it just feels weird to have such a big linear chunk of his discography and then just be missing one.
It's weird in two ways, because I completely understand that, because I do the same thing. But then if you look at it like a regular person, it's like, why is it on the shelf? You probably never pull it out. As far as just practicality goes.
Yeah, I've listened to it once. It sucks. It's really bad. I'm
like you, I think, with stuff like that. Like, you hear of like these 80s records and people are like, but the songs are really good, but I just can't get over the production of some of those things. It's just too in your face and big and brash and slick, and I can't hear the songs through that. And maybe that's, something wrong with me, I'm sure.
No, I totally agree. Yeah.
Well, that is an excellent answer. Most people have tried to kind of skate around that and go, but no, I really just kind of do love this record.
No, that album's terrible. I hope maybe I'll be shamed into getting rid of it in the comments.
Excellent. All right, question 4. What record would you play to get people to leave your party?
Well, I think this is a record to get the right people to leave and the right people to stay. And
Nice.
that's the first Mummies album. This is a really dirty album. It's great, but I think this is when you put on to get the squares to leave.
Looks like you, me, and Vinyl Richie will be at your party. Love the Mummies. Apparently, I was away. They toured here years ago, and apparently they were some of like the wildest garage rock shows. And they come all decked out in the gear still, and apparently they're like really, really good live. I would love to see them one day.
I think I don't know if a lot of people know this, but their jumpsuits that they've just sewn everything onto.
Oh, is it now?
Yeah.
I guess it would have to, yeah. Otherwise,
so they just and then take it off when they're done.
That makes sense because, man, there'd be a long time in preparation otherwise, too.
Yeah. How do you do sound check?
Yeah. Excellent answer. Love the Mummies. But yes, that would separate out the people who you want at your party and the people you don't. 4 for 4. Doing well. All right. Question number 5. Tell a story of the most unusual thing that has happened at a gig you have attended or one you've played, because George has a smoking garage rock band, so he might have a good story about playing as well. Feel free to tell 2 stories if you like.
I don't have a good story about playing.
Because you just always play awesome gigs.
And I don't really have a good story of seeing a show.
This is your Canadian answer by the sounds
I guess. But a really weird show I saw that maybe is the most memorable show I've ever seen was I saw The Residents. This is the flyer.
Oh, wow.
And it was this was 2023, I think.
Yeah.
And it was in Seattle, and it was inside a church.
Of course.
Which is just so weird. It was inside a church. They were on like the church stage. They had a little banner behind them, and then they were all dressed like they are on the flyer. And they played a full set of Resident songs with weird flashing lights everywhere.
Yeah.
And it was, but they made no effort to try to make it not look like a church. Like there was church pews. There was, it was very surreal. But I was sitting on the drummer's side, and I could see he had a set list, and I'm always a complete weirdo about getting whatever I can, a signature or a set list or whatever. And at the end of the show, they did an encore, and they left after the encore, and they all took their set lists with them. And I assume crumbled them up, except for the drummer.
Yeah.
And so right when they left, I ran up onto the stage and took the set list, and he was playing like it's upside down. He was playing like electronic drums, and there's numbers everywhere. I don't know if they're the settings or something.
Oh, yeah.
That he put on, but that was a really, really memorable show.
Just the fact you got to see The Residents, which didn't even know that they play much anymore. Like, that's incredible. That's a great get. Man.
And then afterwards, they showed a Residents movie that you could only see, that they were only showing at shows. Like, they weren't going to release the movie. It was you could only see the movie if you stayed afterwards on this tour.
Story fits the question perfectly. This is great. It just gets weirder and weirder. I love it.
I was worried. I mean, it's not that exciting. It's just really kind of
No,
strange.
excellent. I actually I was thinking that, are you going to tell the story which was the flip side of the Vinyl Richie story?
No, I have that. You can kind of see it. It's right there. I think Vinyl Richie said he signed Vinyl. He just signed at Billy Zoom, but I said that I thought it would be Vinyl Richie would get a kick out of that.
That was a cool story. I love how it is a full circle story too. Excellent. Well, definite point for seeing the Residents in a church and watching their movie afterwards. That's like just weird and awesome. All right. Question, I think we're up to number 6. Show your favorite music-related fruit or vegetable that's not a banana.
Well, I don't know if this is cheating because I think it's technically a tuber. But there's potatoes all over this record.
Yeah.
And this is a Devo demos record. It's demos of the Oh No It's Devo record and then like a couple outtake songs.
Awesome.
But I think, if I remember right, yeah, there's potatoes on the label.
Fantastic. I think this is the first sighting of potatoes for this question. Excellent. Did you go see them on their 50th anniversary tour?
I did, yeah. That was a really good show.
Yeah, I went to it. There's so much fun. They had more outfit changes than a Madonna show. I like how they would just rip off their outfit and they'd have another one underneath. It was fantastic. And in my video I did with Vinyl Richie and Cosmic Brian, but that's my energy dome that I bought at that show. I've got another energy dome as well, but it was getting a bit frail. It was like made out of like heaps cheaper plastic, I think.
Was it one of the really old ones?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a lot thinner than the new one. So, and it's kind of gone a little bit orangey. It's not as red as it used to be. Excellent. Love Devo. One. What's that?
It's not a fresh one.
No. No. Excellent answer. Love Devos. And I do like potatoes. Love mashed potatoes. All right. 6 from 6 from the pre-prepared. I always seem to struggle saying that. Never sounds like it's right. Questions. And now we're moving into the second half where we put you in the hot seat and make you sweat a bit with stuff that you don't know what's coming your way. But you probably do. But anyway, if you've watched this before. All right, number 7. Who is the most punchable lead singer? I know most of them are, having, seen a lot of bands.
I feel like the answer I would have given has already been taken, which is Axl Rose. That I hate Guns N' Roses.
Yes.
But to be different, I guess.
We bring people together with our hate on this channel.
Yeah, well, if I really want to pander, I could say Van Morrison. But
I'm happy with that.
Maybe I would say probably Sting. At my work, there is like a playlist of the same 20 songs that plays over and over and over. And so I'll hear like Every Breath You Take 12 times a day. And I just hate it. Yeah.
Great answer. As was it Warwick Davis on that show called Life's Too Short? Excellently called Sting. The coconut-headed lute-playing twat. Sting is an excellent answer. I think you might have to queue up, though, because I think Stuart Copeland would like to punch him first. 7 for 7. Smashing it out of the park. Okay. Here's a scenario where what is your favorite genre? So, I know everyone likes everything, but what do you find yourself kind of like reaching for more than anything else? And what do you think would be your least favorite genre of music? So, with that in mind, if you had the choice of only listening to 2 records for the rest of your life, you have to choose one from each genre, but the catch is you have to choose what you think is one of the worst records from your favorite genre and what might be considered one of the best records from your least favorite genre. What would you choose?
Favorite genre, I would probably say is punk. And I think, I don't know why I still have it even. I think one of the worst punk records I have is Diminished Responsibilities by the UK Subs.
Don't know that one.
It,
I only have the first one, which is great.
To me, that's the only one that matters.
Yeah.
Diminished Responsibilities is the 4th or 5th record, and I just think they're really weak, boring songs. It's like punk rock Wonder Bread. It's just there's no flavor, there's nothing to cling on to. It's just kind of yeah.
You're putting down the most famous bread in the world thanks to American popular culture. Even I know what that is because of movies and TV shows we get over here. I guess it's like, is it like the Fosters of bread?
I guess you could say that. Sure, yeah. And then I don't really like jazz very much.
Mm-hmm.
I've tried a few times. Most of it just doesn't hold my attention, I guess.
Yeah.
But I do like Miles Davis on the Corner.
Cool. Good answers. A friend of mine who hates jazz, and he's like, I don't see what's every song's the same. Is how he puts. He goes, they play a bit of a melody, and then it's like, you have a solo. No, you have a solo. No, you have a solo. And then we go back to the melody, end of the song. And he's like, and then that goes for fucking 15 minutes. And he's like, I do like some jazz, but I can see his point.
Oh, there has been, I completely forgot, a jazz artist I've been listening to, but it's like vocal jazz.
Yeah.
What's his name? Mose Allison.
Oh, yeah. Is that The Young Man Blues was the song The Who covered was Mose Allison, wasn't it? Is that right?
I think it might be.
Yeah.
But he's not bad. I liked him.
Yeah. Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, and honestly, I only know him because of that reason, the Who connection. But cool. Excellently answered. Now, the one that is the albatross that has been ironically a thing that's made me talk more about this fucking idiot than I get to talk about people who I absolutely love. So here we go. Apologize for liking Van Morrison or celebrate your dislike for him and come and join the good side.
Can I celebrate my dislike and still like them?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I hate him. Yeah, I think he's a dick.
That is the correct answer.
I
love them. They're fantastic.
Oh yeah.
I think that was, besides all of the other stuff of him just being a complete prick, which I didn't know about at first because them, I'm pretty sure them was what I heard first because every garage band learns Gloria when you first start. And anyway, I loved that, and I was like, this has got like this, hard R&B bluesy sound to it. And then it was like, oh, this Van Morrison bloke must be all right. And I hadn't heard one of his records and was like, what is this shit? Like, it's just so self-indulgent and self-important. And he sounds like a frog singing by then, which, it's terrible. And don't get me started on him politically and all that other shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's, I was feeling good when you said he could come up in the punchable section.
Yeah.
Definitely a point for that. So you are 9 for 9. Doing really well. Now, this one I reckon will be easy for you. Off the top of your head, and we all know because we're VC people that it changes on any given day. But right now, what comes to mind, name 3 7-inches which you think are the one is the best garage rock, one's the best punk one, and one is the best power pop one.
Can I grab them real quick?
Yeah.
My 45s are like right next to me.
Do it.
Okay.
I remember Romuald did this to me, and then I got slightly worried he wasn't going to come back. That I can hear you flicking through the...
Oh, yeah, they're like right next to the camera. Yeah.
Yeah, Romuald actually walked into a completely separate room, and I was like, what is going on?
Okay. For punk, I'm going to say the Weirdos. I think Life of Crime is maybe the best punk song that's ever came out of California.
Fantastic voice.
Power pop, to me, it's between this and the only Nervous 45. But when it comes down to it, I think it's Starry Eyes by the Records.
Oh, nice.
I don't really like the rest of the album.
Yeah.
But this song is just worth the price of admission alone.
Yeah. No, that is a great song.
And then garage rock, I'm going to go with The Witch.
Yes.
To me, that is the garage rock song.
Yeah, yeah. Nice.
And I think the B-side's really good
Sonic,
too.
sorry. I just made a mistake. I said Fred Cole, but I was thinking of You Must Be a Witch, but you've got the Sonics.
Oh, Lollipop Shop, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. You know.
No, Sonics, yeah.
Yeah. I'm sure no one will notice I stuffed that up. That is 3 damn good singles. You have gone above and beyond, mate. 10 for 10. This is shaping up to going to be a perfect score, I'm feeling. Are you feeling good about it? I'm feeling really
I don't
good.
know about the last question, the bonus question.
You'll smash it. All right. Now, this will be interesting because we have talked about pandering a little bit, which way you'll go. And, you know, as I said, I'm all for a pander. Number 11. Who is your favourite Australian band?
I would have to say Radio Birdman.
Great answer. Not my favourite, but a great answer.
I think you might prefer the Saints.
I do, yeah.
But I think, well, they have a shorter catalog, but the thing that does it for me is what's the second Saints album with the horns?
The Eternally Yours.
I don't like that record.
With Know Your Product and
I don't like the horns.
This Perfect Day. You don't like the
No. I just can't do it with that.
I was going to be charitable because I was going to say like it's like by this much more than Radio Birdman. I like the Saints, but now you've just gone and shot yourself in the foot.
To me, the first 2 Radio Birdman records are perfect, and the first Saints record is perfect. So it's kind of 2 against 1 to me.
You're like the UK press who just didn't understand that they just progressed faster than people could handle. This is tough for me. I will give you a point because I do absolutely love Radio Birdman, and I am kind of in the thick of that at the moment because I've just read their book Retaliate This, and you were saying you saw the doco
Yeah,
about
that
them
was a really
recently
good
as well.
documentary.
Yeah, which is really good too. And you got to admit, Zeno Beach is not a bad comeback record for how long they were apart.
Oh yeah, and
So,
that live album, what is it? Is it Ritualism?
yeah, I think
That
that's
is it.
yeah.
I like that version of 45 SD or 455 SD more than the uh, Living Eyes version.
Yeah, well, I got to see them a few times when they reformed, and they were like so good, like really. I think the first time would have been in the '90s when Ron Keeley was still playing drums. Like I think it got a bit much for him after a while because it's pretty friggin' frenetic stuff, and us drummers, it's tough aging as a punk rock drummer, and you usually see those bands in the if they're still going, and the drummer's usually some 25-year-old person in the back who's still got the dexterity and the energy. But yes, all right. Under Sufferance, I'll give you a point because I think you're completely wrong
Barely.
about Second Saints record. Their first three are just absolute bangers. Don't listen to George, listen to me when it comes to the Saints. After that, yes, when it became the Chris Bailey and the Swedish Saints or whatever they were, it's patchy. And they are like, there's some good ones, but you can't think of it as the Saints.
What's the third one?
The third one's Prehistoric Sounds.
Yeah, I've never heard that one.
And that you'll probably hate that even more because it goes more even
horns.
More into horns and R&B territory. But it's still got like the thing though I think because Chris Bailey went very much that direction once Ed Cooper left. But the thing I like about Prehistoric Sounds, even though it's in that going that direction, is that you just can't anyway slice it. You can't take out that razor sharp Ed Cooper guitar playing. That's what makes it for me like amazing. All right, I've rhubarbed on enough about the Saints. So we better get to the next question. All right. This is question 12 for a perfect score. In the style of the great Vinyl Richie, say, hello, everybody.
I haven't practiced this at all. I feel like I should have now.
Probably best to just go in cold.
I feel like you need to look off into the distance and have the hands. Hello, everybody.
Well, let's see what the man himself thinks. Ah, shit. I pressed the wrong button. There he is.
You're not in the woods this time.
First of all,
can't hear you. Are you there?
Yeah, man. Prehistoric Sounds is horrible. You don't need to hear that. It's terrible. Although I like that second album, man. When I first heard the horns, I go, "This is horrible." But then, after I heard the whole album, I go, "Man, I kind of think it's better than the debut."
Really? Wow.
Yeah. But anyways, I'm gonna give them a point. No.
Any particular reason?
Well, I was kind of conflicted. Do I want this guy to go perfect and beat me? And I was thinking, I'm going to give him a thumbs down. But then I thought, if I want to see anybody go perfect, I want it to be this chapter here. So I'm going to.
Thank you.
Even though his hello, everybody, or whatever, it was pretty bad, I'm giving him a point.
Well, I feel like the real key is you have to look like you're looking at a plane in the distance.
I had a guy left a comment, and he said his wife asked him, "Hey, is that guy autistic? Because he's always looking off into the distance. He's never looking into the camera."
I feel like I do that too. It's hard to somewhere know where to look.
Sometimes I don't even realize what side of the camera's on. But at the risk of making this a 2 minute dick video, I wanted to show a few records.
Okay.
Okay.
Have you
Oh,
guys
your
heard,
favorite George.
Have you heard this Daryl Hall record?
Oh no.
Report.
Thankfully
It's produced by Robert Fripp. It is fantastic, man. It's fantastic.
Robert Fripp.
Yeah, Robert Fripp did a trio of albums. He did one solo album. He did this one, and I can't remember who else it was. Maybe
Did
it
he
was
do a
Brian.
John Oates album?
But yeah,
this
this is
Kiss. He did.
well. You talk about John Oates. This album here.
He's got more. Come on.
They're sitting on the couch, and I remember I had this album out once, and some girl came over to my house, and she goes, "Are those guys gay?" And it never dawned on me, and I go, "They are kind of sitting close together on that couch." You know?
Have you read the Henry and Glenn comic?
Yeah. Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, where they're
they're the next door neighbors. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it was Henry Rollins. He said, Has Glenn Danzig seen these? Because Henry Rollins loved it. And he's like, I don't think Glenn would like this.
Yeah. This is the best Daryl Hall and John Oates. Actually, I do not like Hall and Oates 80s stuff, but I kind of like their 70s stuff. And I got 2 more records here. Now, Ben,
that's a good album. I like that album.
See, I actually like Elton John, but I purged all of them except for 2. And this is one I kept. And you can't tell me this guy is not glam.
That's a pretty glammy outfit.
Yeah. But I think Elton John's best album is this one here.
I might agree with you, yeah.
And I think Ben would actually like this album. It's a pretty rocking album. The cover is horrendous, but
yeah, it's terrible. He doesn't look glam in that photo, that's for sure.
That's one of the first albums I ever got.
This is. I'm not going to say what he looks like on that one. Now, I got one question before I go.
Yes.
George, did you say you have a job? I thought you were too young to work.
No, I work at an antique mall.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought you were like 14 or something.
No.
Oh, no. Okay.
I gotta fund this some way.
Yeah.
Yeah, we all do.
Yeah.
Well, thanks to everyone who tuned in to watch Two Men and a Dick.
Yeah.
Really appreciate that. It was great. And it's good to see that that you are not judging the Vinyl Richie impersonations by the merit of it. It's just more
right.
if they're going to score more points than you or not.
Yeah.
Not biased at all.
Yeah. No. If it would have been anybody else other than George and they were perfect at this point, they're getting a thumbs down, dude.
I think it would have helped if I had a Red Cross t-shirt on too.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Or Black Flag or something. Anyways, I'll take off. I'll let you guys finish up.
Thanks, man.
All right, bro.
The man himself. I can't believe he had those Hall & Oates records ready to rock. And Elton John.
I know he had Rock of the Westies. I didn't even know he had that Elton John record.
That was great. That was great.
He's getting rid of his Reagan Youth originals, but he's keeping those Hall & Oates records.
I know. That is actually, I think that is a good subject for one of the next ones we make with the Two Men and a Dick, is to be like, what is your purging system? Because you are getting rid of things that people would would sell their mother for, kind of things, and you keep in stuff that, well, what I think is just absolute crap. It's like Hall & Oates. Anyway. You've got a perfect score thanks to Vinyl Richie decided to not be vindictive.
He spared me,
and award you a point. So you're 12 for 12. Now, I reckon this will make some people angry, the bonus question, and they'll be like, "Oh, why didn't I get that question?"
Is it about I don't know anything about geography.
But it's I just get the questions and just roll with it. It's luck of the draw. You get what you get. So, but I have a feeling when I just read this, then I was like, people are just going to be up in arms. Okay, so how many states and territories make up Australia?
Oh, I have no idea. 6.
Are you including territories in that?
Okay, 12. I know nothing about Australia.
The
only thing I know is I've been told the number one cause of car accidents in your country is spiders crawling out of vents.
Really?
That's the only thing I know.
Heard that,
I know that, and I know Radio Birdman.
Yes, I know that Steve Carlson just thinks that everything over here was born to just kill people. It's all of the animals, but I'd never heard that about spiders before. That's great. I was going to say I hope it's true, but I don't, because I don't want people to have car accidents.
It could be completely false. I'm
but I
spreading
was
misinformation.
really trying to help you out there, George, when you said, because I was like, he might get this.
No.
But then you went 12 and you just stuffed it up completely.
No, I flunked geography.
So you were right, as in there are 6 states, but there's also 2 territories. So you've got Western Australia, South Australia, Queensland, New South Wales, Victoria, and Tasmania. And the 2 territories are the Northern Territory and the ACT, which is the Australian Capital Territory, which they just made that up because it was about halfway between Sydney and Melbourne, and that became the capital. I'm pretty sure that's true and not just Wikipedia facts. So there you go. I bet you're fascinated by that. So 12 out of 13. Excellent score. Didn't equal Vinyl Richie with his earth-shattering answer of knowing that rugby was also called the test.
Yeah, that was such a big fluke.
I hadn't even occurred to that because where I live, we're not, there's like Queensland and New South Wales are the rugby states. So it didn't even occur to me when I did that question that rugby was called the test as well. It's like, damn. He pulled that out of his ass. Well, I reckon that's about that because, Brian Embryonic Robot is a real stickler for the time that these
we're going quite long.
Yeah. But it's all good. It's all good. It's just jealousy, I think, because his was the shortest. Thank you so much for getting involved, mate. Really appreciate it.
Thank you. This was a lot of fun.
I had a good time too, man. Great answers. I will leave below the details of George's great channel, Blockhead. You will see some absolute primo punk, garage, rock, power pop stuff on there, and maybe an Elton John record too. But we won't hold that against him. And we'll see you in the next one.
Thanks. Bye.